we had a lot of fun doing that. But that was the only theater production I ever did, and it was a wrestling musical.
That is, I can't believe I've never heard of this.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't tell anybody that. You guys are hearing this first. Yeah.
We are honored to welcome to the stream at this time the one, the only Tyler Main, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, how are you guys?
We are so good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much. We were complimenting you earlier on your backdrop. It's visually beautiful. We love it.
Oh, thank you.
Danica?
Well, I noticed you drinking this earlier, so I have to ask first, what is your go-to whiskey?
Oh, wow. I love a lot of different ones. Cream of Kentucky is the best, the absolute best. It's hard to find. What I'm having today is Angel's Envy, but I also love really rare. You know, Buffalo Trace. I still do my Jack Daniels every once in a while too.
Gotta have Jack Dan, of course. Of course. Do you have like a whiskey tradition, or like is there certain times that you like to drink certain brands, or is it just whatever you're feeling on the day?
You know, it totally depends. It just whatever bottle I have in front of me usually works. But especially for this last year, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No, I just enjoy all whiskeys and that, and I've started to do a show that we're going to be doing. It's Cocktails of the World. So, and I am. They picked me as the whiskey host. I don't know why, but
oh my God, that is amazing.
I guess because I like my whiskeys.
Hey, that's so. What can you tell us more about this show? Or
yeah, well, we just did the first episode. We were at Lucha Mariano Distillery. It's going to be a new distillery in Danville, Kentucky, and they're in the process of building it now. So we went there for the groundbreaking and helping them pick their barrel for the Bourbon Festival that is later in September coming up. So yeah, so I'm really excited about that. We're going to be going back there and filming some more and having a lot of fun, you know, and sampling a lot of different whiskeys.
That's amazing. That is so really cool. Well, congratulations. What a cool opportunity.
Yeah. You know, it's always great when your hobbies can become your job, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we have to ask is, you know, there's a lot of speculation about it, but we're very curious. Where is the inspiration behind the name Tyler Main?
Oh, wow. You know, I don't even know how that came about. I was just throwing names around, and I had the long hair at one time. Of course, that's gone now. So maybe I need to change my name to D Main. But no, you know, I mean, I had Maine, and I was like Maine, and I was going to use it as wrestling, and then I was like, okay, I'm Tyler Main. And it stuck, you know. So
and it's good. It's such a good name. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's so good.
Yeah, you know, I legally changed it probably 15 years ago now.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
So I am Tyler Main. I love it. They go, "What's your middle initials?" I go, "I don't have any." It's Tyler Main.
Tyler Main. But
that's what we need, right?
Yeah, it's so true. It's very true. But I think, like you kind of just briefly mentioned, like when you have the Tyler Main, the name, the persona, and initially you grew up, you know, in this incredible wrestling industry, and we would be remiss if we didn't ask about it because Danik and I are huge wrestling fans, and people have already been asking questions about your time with training with the legendary Stu Hart. So we wanted to know if you have any memories from your times in Calgary with the Hart Foundation.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it was, I would go and talk to them. I'd watch their show when they were taping and that, and I'd talk to Stu, and I said, you know, hey, I'm really interested in wrestling. And he saw, you know, I was a big guy, and he goes, kid, come down to my house, and we'll see if you want to be a wrestler. And he took me in the dungeon. and stretched me like 10 ways to Sunday. And then I came back the next day, and he goes, all right, kid, what do you want for breakfast before we start?
So you were like,
that was the start with Stu in the dungeon. But yeah, I mean, if anybody's been in the dungeon is, I mean, it was low ceilings and this dingy room. And I'm like, how am I going to be doing suplexes and stuff in here? And he's like, kid, you got a lot of training to do before that. So, yeah. So that was my start with Stu.
Now, did you get lucky or like as far as injuries when you were training initially? Did you sustain any injuries or were you lucky in that sense?
Training, I was pretty lucky, you know, but over the years it accumulates. You know, you get this happens to you. You know, I mean, I tore muscle away from my bone in my hand and stuff.
That's fun. Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
You do all kinds of crazy things, you know, and get your concussions and things like that. But it's all part of the game, you know, and I wouldn't change it for the world because it got me to where I am today, you know, doing what I love and I've been able to do it for how many years now, you know, since '86. Wow.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So knowing that wrestling is such a dangerous sport, did you have what kind of hurdles did you have to overcome when you were traveling abroad and, you know, working with the international folks that you got to work with?
Yeah.
Communication barriers or things like that?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of communication barriers, you know, but, you know, as you know, in pro wrestling, you talk things out and it's a lot of showing and going through. But, you know, in Mexico, they work off the different arm, they work off the right side instead of the left. And it's just things that you got to adjust to, you know, and then you go into Japan and that's a whole nother ball game. You know, that's just a survival game. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah. I was lucky enough when I wrestled in Japan, in the Tokyo Dome, I was one of the last people to wrestle Andre.
Really?
Oh, wow.
I think it was 93, somewhere in there.
Do you have any stories about, you know, working with Andre?
Oh, man, Andre is such a sweetheart. He, you know, we were doing a tag match, and I was like, oh, you know, pin me type of thing. So, because I wanted to be pinned by Andre. And I go down, I take my bump, and he comes over, he goes, sorry, boss. And he just fell on me, you know, and I was like, holy shit, get off. He goes, just a minute, boss. Not much further now. Not much longer now. And he goes, 1, 2, 3, and he rolls off. I was like, oh my God, Andre.
Get me to a chiropractor. I can't even imagine.
Right? It's like, oh man. He goes, I owe you a beer, boss.
That's nice.
He owes you a couple beers. It's so funny. I always love looking at those pictures when Andre's like holding like a can of beer, but it looks like it's a miniature can because of how huge.
You would drink pitchers of beer, right? But it looks like he's drinking from a little teacup.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And wine like by the bottles is like insane. But such a sweetheart. Such a sweetheart.
Do you follow like any of the current products?
You know, I watch it every once in a while, but I'm usually too busy with my production company and doing other things to be doing that. But I have seen some of the AEW, which is looking pretty damn good.
Yeah, they really came out swinging. Yeah, it's amazing. Well, one of the other things that we kind of wanted to know to segue into your acting career, do you feel that you get to use your wrestling prowess or skills in films? Like, do you feel like your training with Stu helped you become a better actor?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely, you know, because it teaches you to act and react to people. And, you know, when you're doing a film, and other actors realize that you have this training, that you were a pro wrestler, they're like, oh, we're fine. You know, okay, what do you want to do? You know, it's crazy. It's I did one musical in my life, one theater production. It was a wrestling musical. It was Stratford Tansy. They called it Turbo Tansy. I did it at the San Diego Repertory Theater. And I had to wrestle this chick night in, night out, you know. And it just drove the coordinator, the fight choreographer, crazy because I'm like, man, I cannot do the same goddamn thing for, I don't know if I can swear or not, but I can't do the same goddamn thing night in, night out for 2-3 months straight, you know? So it drove him batty. But the girl that I was working with was just like, yeah, whatever, you know, I trust you. And so we had a lot of fun doing that. But that was the only theater production I ever did, and it was a wrestling musical.
That is, I can't believe I've never heard of this.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't tell anybody that. You guys are hearing this first. Yeah. And you know how the funny thing is, because this is when I had the long blonde hair. Man, I mean, it was back in the Nitron days. And I was just, I go in there and they go, do you want to do this theater production? I'm like, well, okay, wasn't really up my alley. And I get in there and they go, it's a musical. Can you sing? I go, what? And then they say, well, can you just sing Happy Birthday? So I sang Happy Birthday and I ended up getting the job. I'm like, well, I walked out of there. I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to be doing this. Thank God. But then they wanted a wrestler. So, and I ended up doing it.
You booked it.
I booked it. I booked that gig.
So, I mean, could you see yourself doing another theater production or musical?
Nope.
No. Okay. One and done.
No, my wife is she's a theater major, you know, and she's done the Shakespeare, all of that, Had a Gobbler, all of those, you know. I'm like, no, I go and I like watching good theater, but for me, it's being on a movie set. That's where I gotta be, you know.
Fair enough. But you tried it.
I tried it. I did it. I did my theater run.
Fabulous. Love it.
Well, I want to ask something that's kind of pivoting away from all of that, just to stray just a little bit, no pun intended. We know that you are passionate about dog rescue and pet adoption. So what can you share with us about your process of going through it and your pups? Oh, man.
I just had to kick Biscuit out of here. She would be sitting right here next to me.
Oh, Biscuit.
Yeah. She's about 7 months now, you know, and so we just got her a little while ago. And then we got Biscuit, and PG Tips is a little kitten that they were like bottle feeding them together because Biscuit was one of 8 in the litter, but she was the only one that lived. So they were having to take care of her. And then they had this little kitten that was, when we finally got her, when we first saw her, she was like 1.5 pounds. And when we picked her up just probably about 3 weeks ago, she was 3.5 pounds. Well, now we got, and she was 8 months. She's a month older than our dog, and we've got her up to 5.5 pounds now. So, yeah, so we got those two going at it, and then we have a rescued Pitty, and then we've got another rescued Bichon. So, yeah, we're all about the rescue. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I follow Paws Atlanta on Instagram. You know, and I always see these puppies, and I saw a Biscuit on there. I was like, oh, because we just lost our English Mastiff, and I knew my wife was wanting another dog, and I said, you know, oh, look at this. I sent her the picture of Biscuit, and you can see her on my Instagram. And she ended up going and getting her and bringing her home, and I was like, well, okay, I guess that's happening.
Welcome to the family, Biscuit.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So that's the whole long about of all our crazy pets.
I feel like a lot of the guests that we have are really big into promoting, you know, adoption. And a lot of times, like I know you said you kicked out Biscuit, but a lot of times we have so many animals that make their way onto our stream. We love it. We embrace it. So if Biscuit wants to join. Oh yeah. Yeah, if Biscuit's available, Biscuit can join.
Maybe next time.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Well, of course, we wanted to congratulate you on the huge success of Jupiter's Legacy because, oh my God, it just, like, once this thing came on Netflix, it has been literally trending every day since. Every time I turn on Netflix, it's like, you want to continue? Like, here we go. You know, it's let's go. So we kind of wanted to ask about what was it like filming this project during the pandemic?
We wrapped just before the pandemic. So we were
fabulous.
We were done. And because there's, you know, if you've seen the show, you see there's so much CGI and it's just
a lot of editing
production.
to be done.
So we got, we wrapped prior to the pandemic, and, you know, we've all been kind of sitting around, waiting for it to come out. But they had a lot of post work that they had to do on it. And I'm glad they took their time with it, and it turned out really great. And it's just amazing to be a part of a project like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is so cool. So, okay, so how long was the filming process? If it was pre-pandemic, do you remember? Like you said, there was so much that went into it. I was watching all the behind the scenes with the green screen and people flying around and you flying around. I mean, it was wild.
Yeah, it was crazy. We did 3 months of stunt training and fight choreography before that big hilltop battle, and about quarter of the way through, I was fitted for the outfit because they had to finish it. And I go, guys, you're not going to be moving as fast as we think we are. And it was like me and my stunt double against the whole union. So I'm like, oh man, I'm just going to tag him in and let him do it. So, because wearing those suits was crazy. It took about 3 hours to get into the makeup. It was 8 pieces glued down to my face, but it's some of the best stuff I've ever worn because you wink, you smirk, it picked it all up just like I have there.
Wow.
So it was amazing wearing that. But that armor, that was some heavy duty stuff. It was all made out of like foam rubber stuff.
Oh,
it was so heavy. It was about 60 pounds, I think. And at the end of the night, it'd be about 30 or 40 pounds heavier from my sweat that they would take the gloves off and just pour out the hands of sweat, and the feet would pour out and the suit would be covered in sweat. It was kind of gross, but but it looked good, That's
all that matters.
Yeah. That's right, and I love that character because he's a doctor. He's so cocky and snide and snarky, but yet he's intelligent, and he's got a softer side,
It's such a well-developed character. Like, it just, I'm obsessed. And I was also going to say, when that picture is back up, I would be shocked if the team doesn't win for, like, best costuming, best makeup. There's some shows where you can watch and you're like, okay, like I can kind of see a seam here or a seam there. But I feel like you guys were so immersed in these beautiful costumes and prosthetics. That's what, it drew me in so much. It's just incredible.
Well, and I'm glad that they did it practical instead of CGI, the whole thing. It was great to give that base of the character and give him his life. And make him a 3-dimensional character, in all those scenes. And it was just a blast to be able to play a character like that, to be able to do all of that, all the expressions, everything I did through that makeup was amazing and so much fun. It was like the first day of filming, we filmed the scene where they were doing the autopsy, and it was. I just had so much fun with that, with the glasses, taking them off.
Yep.
And I got a fan club, asshole.
What did you know about the physical features of BlackStar before auditioning?
Well, you know, I mean, it's based on Mark Millar's comic book, Jupiter's Legacy, but BlackStar appears very little in the comic book, and then he's gone. And I was like, oh my God, please, please make this a TV series and not a another feature. Because if it would have been a feature, BlackStar probably would have had the same fate and been taken out a little bit earlier. But they had the time to expand on it, and of course, you need a good visual supervillain in these. So that was it.
That's awesome.
So,
well,
what
congratulations.
would you say you're most proud of in your role as BlackStar?
Oh wow! I mean, just bringing the nuances to him, you know, and the cockiness, and it was just so much fun. The producers, after that first day, they were just like, "You're having too damn much fun with this character," you know. And I mean, I would love to see him go on and see his backstory, how he became BlackStar, and you know, and develop into what he was. So
well,
fingers crossed.
Putting it out into the universe, whether it's a spin-off or maybe a musical. No, I'm just kidding, not a musical. BlackStar the musical?
Oh yeah, BlackStar the musical, right?
I'm into it. Well, okay, so if you had like a nuclear bomb reactor in your chest, like BlackStar, what thing in the world would make it explode for you as Tyler Mane?
Oh my God. Shitty drivers. You know, I'm telling you, I hate people that just ride right up on your bumper. I'm like, what are you doing? You know, and people that turn and don't signal. Oh, I mean, when they turn in front of you and you're trying to go straight, man, that antimatter would just go boom, blow them out of this universe. It's just so stupid. I mean, they put those turn signals on the car for a reason.
No, but they're optional, right?
Well, I guess.
I know. Especially, like, I don't know how it is in Atlanta, but in Miami, I mean, you're lucky to see a turn signal once a day. Like, they just...
I'm telling you, you drive the freeways here in Atlanta, everybody thinks they're like AJ Foyt or Dale Earnhardt Jr. or something. You know, it's like, come on, people. Oh,
the worst. I'm with you on that.
I need a drink. I'm just so stressed over that.
Go ahead, drink, chug.
Woo. All right. Well, we wanted to ask about so the fact that you worked with Rob Zombie on Devil's Rejects before doing the Halloween series.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first experience of meeting with Rob? What was that like?
Oh, you know, I auditioned for it. I auditioned for a different role, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get it, whatever. And then I got a call, and they wanted me to take over the Rufus role. So I was like, okay. And I hadn't met Rob because it was a film. It was a taped audition. And first day on set, I remember the sound guys were playing on their little monitor one of his music videos, you know, and Rob's rocking on the dreadlocks and whipping everywhere. And I'm like, and then I'd look over and I'd see Rob sitting behind the director's chair. And he'd be like, and I was like, this can't be happening. And, you know, and the sound guys are like, yeah, right. It's crazy. But he is so smart and he knows what he wants, you know, and him being an entertainer, he gets some great performances out of his actors because he lets them do what they want to do, you know, and tries it and tweaks it and takes it to the next level. I mean, it was fantastic working with Rob.
That's awesome. Well, someone else that I wanted to ask about you working with is Scout. And a couple weeks ago at Spooky Empire, she had mentioned a story about after you guys would wrap on Halloween, you would go to the Waffle House. So I just wanted to ask about if there's any Waffle House stories you can share.
Yeah, Waffle House, probably 7 a.m., 6 a.m. We were shooting all night, right? And I think I had my wife and might have had my kids in Scout and that. So we'd go stop at the Waffle House on the way back to the house. And we're all covered in blood. Waffle House people don't give a shit. That is like,
because it's normal at the Waffle House. That's the problem.
You know, I'm trying to explain that we're doing a movie, you know, and Scout's just laughing, going, "No, don't tell them anything. Don't tell them anything." I just that's all I need is the cops showing up here, right? So then I have Scout in a production that we did through Main Entertainment, Penance Lane. Did she tell you about that?
No, because she had to leave to get to the airport like after 10 minutes of the panel. So she skedaddled. Yeah.
Yeah. It's another, you know, late at night. This was probably wrapped, I don't know. We were right probably when they were closing, going through, I think it was a Hardee's or something like that, or Arby's, I don't know, some burger joint. And she's, again, covered in blood. And she's trying to convince them that I'm kidnapping her. I'm like, oh my God, Scout, will you shut up?
Oh no!
And it was funny because the guy kind of looks around the corner. He's like, "Gee," and then Scout's laughing. Of course, you know. I was like, "Really? Did you just do that to me?"
Oh, that's so dark.
I was just waiting for the cops to come. I'm like, these murders are taking a long time.
Right?
You know? I'm just waiting for, you know, cops to swarm in there and no, really, we're filming a movie. Yeah, right, you are. You know?
Oh my goodness. Well, do you have any plans to work with Scout on any of your other upcoming projects? I know she's just wrapped something else, but I think we all want to see the two of you guys work together again.
Yeah, I love working with Scout. Have you guys seen Penance Lane, one that we did through our production company?
No, not yet.
You got to check out Penance Lane. She's in it. Booker T's in it. Dallas Page is in it. Daniel Roebuck is in it. I mean, it's a good little flick.
Penance Lane.
Penance Lane, yeah.
Got it.
Penance
Fabulous.
Lane and also Compound Fracture.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we're actually working on our next thing is we're going to be doing a graphic novel loosely based on the book The Last Spartan, which was a John Saunders book that we're adapting to a graphic novel, because with my wife being Renee Geerlings, who was the editor-in-chief of Top Cow Comic Books, Radical, and Darby Pop, and all these other places, it just made sense. And I'm like, I want to do a comic book. So we're in the process of getting that all going. And we have our writer on board, which is Christopher Priest, who wrote the Black Panther, brought back the Black Panther. I'm so excited I can't even talk.
I know. That's crazy.
I'm so excited because we've had so many conversations with him, and he just gets the way I want this character to be. So I'm just so excited. Yeah,
that was one of the things we wanted to ask about. I'm sorry. That was one of the things we wanted to ask about was the graphic novel. And is that something, when can we expect to see something like that? This year, next year?
We're hoping for later on this year. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We're trying to get it moving as quick as we can. And I'm excited about it. It's like if Sons of Anarchy meets The Punisher meets human trafficking. So it's going to be dark and gritty and intense. So
that is amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
So can you tell us about any other future projects you have coming out with Main Entertainment? Because we were looking at IMDb and there's a whole bunch of stuff in development.
Yeah, the only one that I'm allowed to talk to you guys about now is that one where we have the contracts.
Yeah, done. Of course. We're not here to.
Everything else will kind of like.
Mum's the word.
Mum's the word. Mum's the word.
Keep an eye.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah. We're trying to get one at a time going. So that's the one that we're looking at heavy next.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, wanted to ask briefly about what it's been like for you joining, several different actually franchises with history of other actors playing the roles that you played. So like Halloween and X-Men with the comic books and everything like that.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like, I mean, first thing I did with the Halloweens was I went out and watched all the Halloweens except for number 3, where Season of the Witch, Michael Myers doesn't even appear in it. So I don't know if they called it a Halloween. But anyhow, so I went and watched all the other ones to see what they did, and then I wanted to take it to the next level, and when Rob explained that he's wanting to make him a 3-dimensional character, show his background, I was like, okay, that's very cool, you know. So I did the heavy research on that. And then for Sabertooth, I went and got as many comic books as I could, you know. I just ran down, you know, I'd seen the cartoons because I'm a big cartoon fan.
Oh, yeah.
And I ran down to the comic book shop in the Valley in Los Angeles. And I mean, I didn't know how big this was. I was like, okay, you know, I know it's big, but I mean, I didn't know it had this whole badass universe to it, right? So I go into the store, I go, hey, do you guys got any X-Men comic books? And the kid's like, yeah, those 4 rows over there. Okay, now I'm starting to look like a dumbass. I go, Sabertooth. He looks at me and goes, yeah, those 2 rows right there, you'll find Sabertooth in them. Oh, okay. And I go, well, can you help me pick some of the best ones? You know, and I didn't want to say this for research because I was like, I'm not going to say that. So I said, I just blurted out for my nephew. He really loves them. And then he perked up. He was like, oh, okay. You know, and he started helping me. And I was like, oh. I think that's where I got the dude growl from.
So, you know, what's kind of cool is like prior to the craziness of the world, you know, Danik and I, you know, do a lot of Comic-Cons, and at some of them there was this thing called Fantasy Super Cosplay Wrestling, where people would wrestle as different characters. We had a Sabertooth, and he did a good job. I mean, he was no Tyler Mane, but he did a very good job. Did he win? Occasionally. Yes, he had some wins, had some W's.
I gotta give that guy some tips then, man.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't do Sabertooth bad, man.
Well, we got to talk to the bookers about, you know,
right,
getting them over. But yeah, we had like a bunch of people from X-Men. We had like Storm. We had, oh my gosh, now I have to go back a year and a half in my brain. But it was a lot of fun. It was, It was really cool. But so you also mentioned that you liked the TV show. When you were initially watching the cartoon, was there an X-Men figure that stood out to you? Maybe like before you knew about playing Sabertooth?
Oh gosh. I mean, wow. You know, I like Magneto, Beasts. I just like them all, man. Here's the thing. I was a tall, skinny kid, glasses and braces, and I was slightly dyslexic. So my escape was on the weekend, growing up in Canada, watching wrestling, and then the cartoons would come on, and I would watch all the cartoons, and then I'd start reading my comic books, you know, and then I'd wait for the action movies to come on at night, and then I'd literally after the Walt Disney World, I don't know, it's probably way before your guys' time, there was a Wonderful World of Disney that came on in Canada a Sunday night at I think 8 o'clock. I'd watch that, have to go to bed, and after that I was like, ah, shit, I gotta go to school tomorrow, you know, and it just drove me crazy. But that's, yeah, you know, I mean, I just watch all of them. The G.I. Joe stuff, everything. It was crazy.
Yeah. The new G.I. Joe movie looks really good too. Things as you're mentioning G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
So we have a question from Kyle about wanting to know what it was like working with Octavius Spencer.
Oh, you know, it was amazing. She was such a sweetheart. And we ended up, I think, doing some reshoots with her. And I have to say that is my favorite kill of both of the Halloweens that I did. And it's not just because she went on to win an Oscar. I do think I am the only serial killer that has killed an Oscar winner.
I would put that on your resume.
I'm going to. Let me call my agents now.
Go ahead. Right? That's interesting. Danica, do you want to ask one more? I'll ask one more and we'll play the game.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So we mentioned briefly the Comic-Con circuit. So we know you have done them in the past. What are you most looking forward to in terms of getting back to all these Comic-Cons, and do you have any coming up?
I do. I have. I think I'm going to be doing probably about 10 this year coming up. You know, but I thrive on them because I just love meeting people and talking to people and just having fun with them. You know, and because I'm a fan myself, and it's just so much fun to get out there and talk to the fans and, you know, meet them and share conversations with them. And it's just, I love it. I love it. And that's something I realized way back in my wrestler days. You know, without the fans, you don't have a career, you know. I in the earlier days, I saw some wrestlers that were some pricks to people, and they didn't last long. You know? I'm like, why would you do that? You know? So, but yeah, so I'm excited to get back.
So you mentioned obviously you being a fan yourself. Who is somebody that you met at a convention that you're like, oh my goodness,
starstruck at all?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't know. You know, I mean, I try to keep it contained as much as I can. You know,
it's hard.
But but you know, running into Shatner, you know, and running into John Carpenter, you know.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And you know, you kind of like, hey, John, how are you? You know.
This is normal. I'm not.
Yeah.
Just my face look weird.
Yeah, just, you know, people like that, you know, and I usually don't pay too much attention. My wife says I need to pay a little more attention because I'll be talking to somebody for 5-10 minutes, and she goes, "Do you realize who you were just talking to?" No. She goes, "Oh, that was so and so." I'm like, "Oh, well, he seems like a nice guy or nice lady." You know, yeah. That's the way I judge it. You know? And
for sure.
If they're a prick, I'm just like, oh, well.
And then you never talk to them again. But hopefully we'll see you at a convention coming up this year, next year. That would be fun. Another thing before we get to the game that we wanted to know, obviously that the world is every day we're getting closer to normal, whatever that is. And we see that some bands are announcing that they're about to start touring this year and next year. We were wondering if there was any bands or musical acts that you're hoping to see on the road sometime this year or next.
Oh, wow. You know what? I just had a buddy of mine send me an email saying that Grand Funk Railroad's coming to town here. And I'm like, oh, man. I got to go to that. You know, my wife was like, who? I'm like, oh, you
Mark Farner? Hello?
You gotta be kidding me. You know? So so I'm sitting there playing like 10 of their songs. I go, you got to know this one. You got to know, you know, come on. So maybe that's just saying I'm old. I don't know.
No, we had Mark Farner on here a couple weeks ago. Yeah, we love Grand Funk Railroad. Yeah. Yes. Love him, but I don't think anything was announced at that point. But I mean, of course, we knew he was going to get back on the road. Hopefully, we'll get to see him too, because that would be amazing.
Yeah,
he's a great man.
I don't know when that is. It's coming up later. So I hope I'm in town. Oh God, I hope I'm in town. That's the thing, you know. I mean, like with what we do, usually all the good shows come in, and then you're like, oh, I got to be somewhere else. Oh man, I'm filming. Oh man. You know?
Yeah. Timing is everything.
Timing is everything. Timing is everything.
Well, yes. Okay. We have a game that we're going to play, Tyler. This is a game of Would You Rather. There is no wrong answers. So we're going to give you two options, and you just have to pick between the two. So, Danica, do you want to read the first one?
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. Cue the graphics.
All right. Would you rather always rock a whaler-style beard or always rock a large mustache?
Oh, whaler.
The whaler?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Like I had in H2.
Sure. I love a good whaler.
That was my real beard, too. I mean, it was down to here. It was the real deal, man.
How long does something like that take to grow?
Well, that took me a little over a year. Yeah.
Impressive.
Not bad.
Impressive.
Yeah. I was growing it for Rob for another project, and then we ended up just keeping it for H2 because it just made sense. You know, I mean, for the hobo Michael Myers, he's not going to shave every day, right? So it made sense. It worked.
For sure. All right. Here's the
probably be there soon.
Next question. Would you rather? Oh, gross. Okay. Eat a mustard-filled Pop-Tart or eat a marshmallow stuffed pretzel?
I love mustard, so I'd probably say mustard.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
What kind of Pop-Tart is it, though?
I don't.
Dealer's choice.
Yeah, dealer's choice.
Strawberry. I don't even know what flavor. I don't eat that stuff very often. So, but yeah.
Okay. Good choice. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Next one, Danica.
Okay. Would you rather replace the Halloween mask with Mr. Rogers or with Tom Hanks?
Is it flipped inside out or is it just regular?
Ooh,
the original Shatner was turned inside out, I believe, right?
I think so. Was it?
Is it?
I thought it was. I thought it might have been.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good trivia question.
I've heard that. I mean, that's one of the myths. But I would go with Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. All right. Here's the next one. Would you rather wear the BlackStar prosthetics every time you go out for dinner or wear the Sabertooth teeth and claws every time you go out for dinner?
It depends. Is it finger food?
It's chicken wings.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I'm going BlackStar all the way. You got it.
Fair enough.
You got to.
All right. That's a good choice. All right. Danica, next one.
Either way, it's badass.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather be buried alive or be submerged in a tank full of snakes?
Oh, buried alive. I hate snakes.
That was quick.
Why does it have to be snakes? Okay, buried alive. A la The Undertaker and maybe Mick Foley in your house. It might be that match. All right. Here's the next one. Would you rather play an adaptation of Frankenstein's monster or an adaptation? Okay. Frankenstein.
There we go.
I didn't even because I've always wanted to do a Frankenstein. Frankenstein's monster. I would love to be able to do that role.
I'd love to see you as that. That'd be awesome.
Ditto. Another thing, out in the universe.
Yes, put it out there.
It is.
Never know, right?
Never know. Never know. All right, next one.
All right. Would you rather voice a character in Call of Duty or have your exact likeness used as a main character in a video game?
Oh, I would have to voice myself in Call of Duty. I play that every day. You know?
Yeah.
Well, but then I might have. Yeah, but then if I hear myself every day, I might not want to play anymore. That's a tough one. Well, is it seeing myself every day in the video game, Call of Duty, or any video game?
Any video game.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then maybe I'd go some other video game where I don't play that often.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to ruin Call of Duty for myself.
What am I doing here? Did I even film this? I don't know. Okay. Okay, here's the next one. Would you rather face off against John Cena or reunite with Kevin Nash and become a member of the NWO?
Wow. We're dragging up some stuff here. I'd probably go NWO.
Okay.
You know, but I mean, he can't see me either. So
right.
But they're both great guys. I just got to work with John and Playing with Fire.
Yeah, we saw that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, let's see. Do we have one or two more?
Which is being re-released this summer too, by the way. So yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, they're putting it in theaters. I'm gonna have to go watch it in the theater again. That's fantastic.
Yay, movie theaters. Woohoo! All right, this is the last one. Danica?
Would you rather ride cross country on bikes with Ron Simmons or ride cross country on bikes with Josh Duhamel?
Wow. I didn't. Does Ron ride?
We're not sure.
It's just thrown it out there.
Yeah, I mean, he could ride in the sidecar. I don't know.
Goggles.
It might tip over.
Damn.
I don't know, man. I'd have to go with both of them.
Okay, we could do that.
Because Ron's a great guy, and Josh is a blast to hang out with too. So, I mean, that's a hard choice.
Does Josh ride?
I don't know. We never talked about that, but we were too busy being wedged into tight outfits. So.
True. Well, on that note, that was our game of Would You Rather, and you have been lovely, and we appreciate you taking your time to spend with us. Is there any final thoughts you want to leave us with before you can rejoin Biscuit?
No, just check me out on Instagram, Facebook, and all those. Follow along to see where this ride goes next, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, before we let you go, we're going to go over our upcoming guest for whatever month. June. We're in June now. This is crazy. Let's cue our upcoming guest. So on Thursday, we have your friend, Ace Vaughn Johnson from the LA Guns and Faster Pussycat. Next week, we have Matt Frazier from American Horror Story Freak Show. Following Thursday, Jonah Ray, Mystery Science Theater 3000. The following Tuesday, we have Petey, who is the head of Spooky Empire. Special bonus show on Saturday with Ryan Roxy from Alice Cooper. And then ending out the month with David Cook, who won season 7 of American Idol. So we got a lot going on. Tyler, you're amazing. Thank you so much again.
Thank you for having me. Tell Pete to give me a call. I want to get back to Spooky there.
Yeah.
Spooky. Well, that's a lot of fun.
Okay. I'm going to tell him right now.
All right.
Well, hopefully we'll see you at Spooky or another convention. You never know. Frankenstein. Fingers crossed. All right, guys. We'll see you on Thursday. Be safe, everybody. Bye.